sacred ground. You are heard right now. Your voice matters. This is sacred ground. You are heard right here, right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to You Are Heard podcast, where your voice matters. And I'm your host, Aniola, and I am here with the wonderful Coach Jerry Seymour.
What's going on? I appreciate that.
What's up?
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes, ma'am.
And for those of you that don't know, this is a podcast where your voice matters, and we believe that healing starts with being heard.
Absolutely.
And one of the key things is making sure that we share stories of people living within their purpose. And Coach Jerry, you are just one of those people that from the moment that I spoke to you,
Yes.
I instantly knew that you were living within your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a coach. You have an amazing program called the Running Back Academy.
Yes, ma'am.
But not only are you a coach, you're also an amazing speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Keep going.
yeah, I'm gonna boost your head up.
Keep going.
I am going to boost your head
I
up.
appreciate that.
Like, you're an amazing speaker, but the story before you got to this point of being who you are is extraordinary.
Ooh, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Like, I'm just in awe. And Coach Jerry,
Talk to me.
like, what brought you, first of all, I want to say, what brought you on this journey of coaching?
I think for me, like, it was more like a sick and tired of being sick and tired kind of moment. And I was working at this gym, and it was kind of like, it was divine, right? So I was doing sales at a sports gym.
Right.
And I would sell, athletes to train at this facility.
Right.
And I also did, NFL players. So it's like a concierge service.
Right.
And I was working for 100% commission. So any sale that came through that door, I needed it. And there was this one kid who played the running back position. His name was Willie Davis, and he played at PPO. And he ended up coming to the facility, but one of the coaches, they did not make it that day because they got sick. I needed that sale, right? And I said, you know what? The coach ain't here. They was like, well, we can come back next week. And when you do sales, you don't let the customer walk out the door.
Right.
So I was like, no. I could do something for you. So 10 minutes later, I end up taking him out on the field. I end up training him, just doing running back drills and stuff like that. And his dad was like, you know what? We have never did nothing like this before. And he was like, you know what? Like, this is what my son needs. And I can't forget the feeling that I felt when I was training that kid. Like, I was in bliss. Like, I wasn't stressed because, sales jobs are stressful.
Right.
But I just felt like I was in another world, another dimension. I felt like I was in my element. And then I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. So the dad was like, look, I'm going to sign him up, but I want him to work with you. Went home later on that night. I said, you know what? I'm going to give my job my 2 weeks notice, and I'm going to start, this thing called, at the time, it was game day preparation,
Right.
which branched off to the Running Back Academy. So it was just like divine, and I just haven't felt that way in a long time. And when I got that feeling, I said, nah, this is what I need to do. This is my purpose.
And it's so interesting that you say that because, there's a lot of people, they work in certain places and you saw an opportunity and you didn't punk out.
Right.
You didn't oh, let me look for somebody else. It's like you seized the moment and you said, you know what?
Right.
Let's do the drill.
And I think that's how a lot of people step into their purpose. I think it's just like, it was a moment, and it's just like they took it. They went after it. And then when they took time to kind of think about it and reflect on it, they was like, wow, like what happened? It's kind of like one of those things where it's just like, it's like in the second moment. And when you do it, it's like, you know what? I want that feeling again. Like, this is what I'm born to do. This is what I was birthed to do. And that's what happened to me in that moment, man. And like I said, it's been a tough journey, but like, I cannot imagine myself not doing what I'm doing today. I don't know where I would be, honestly,
if you didn't take that chance.
I didn't take that chance. So, but like I said, it was divine. It had to be God, because He woke something in me. And I'm the type of person, I'm like, you know what? Come back next week. But I was like, nah, dude, I need this money. I think it was my rent, dude. That's what made me do it too. Yeah.
So you were hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry. I was hungry and I needed it. You know what I mean? And it actually helped me out in more ways than I could think of.
Now, in order for somebody to be a coach, they have to be well versed
Correct.
with the actual subject. So where did you get your knowledge from in being able to be able to train him? Because you must have had some experience in your past.
Yes, absolutely. So I grew up playing the running back position. I played for North Day Optimists for my Miami Gardens folks.
Hey,
but right now they call it Miami Gardens Bulldogs.
Okay,
but
it's still Miami Gardens.
What's real, it's not even a park no more, so which is crazy. So I played for North Day Bulldogs, and I ended up I graduated from Pace High School.
Okay.
And I'm going to Central Michigan University. So I played running back basically all my life. So all that experience from then, and then in college, I did transfer when I was in college. So I played for 4 different head coaches. So I got that experience in playing the different systems. So all that knowledge from that, I just took it in that moment, and I just basically trained. That's what I train the kids now, through all that experience that I had when I was playing in college.
Right. And now it's like you've trained people that play in the NFL.
Yes, ma'am.
Like you've trained some amazing people, and all of that training that you were doing back then was going to lead you to this point of having this running back academy.
Correct.
Training people, but you're also an amazing speaker on top of that. Like you don't just train them physically, you train them mentally.
Correct.
And I know that's based on experience.
Absolutely. And a lot of times when I'm speaking, and I was telling my guy Trav this the other day, I told him, I said, you know what, man, when I'm out there speaking, I say this, whenever we train kids after the session, we'll get the kids on it, they'll take a knee, and we'll just talk to them about what we observed that day. Right? Who lacked, who did good, who did okay, who was on the fence, and we'll just give our feedback. And a lot of times when I'm speaking, I see kids, even though these are adults in the crowd, I see kids sitting on one knee staring at me and just ready to receive the feedback or the speech that I'm ready to give to them.
Right.
So it's like God had prepared me, because we gave millions of speeches. We were talking about this the other day, because we had been training for about 5 years, and every day, it was not a day that we did not say nothing to the kids for them to go home and take with them, right? So my last speech that I did, that's when I seen it, and I said, man, people were locked in, they was looking at me, and it was like, man, God really prepared me for this moment. All that feedback we gave to those kids really came in that moment. So that was a aha moment, and just an epiphany, for me, man, God really prepared me.
Right.
Because we don't really notice when God prepares us. We just go through the hardship, and it's man, life is tough. But when you have that moment, just like when I first trained that kid in running back, and when I was on the stage, and it came at the weirdest moment. I'm on stage, I almost froze up, right? But I didn't, but in my head, I was like, you know what? God had been preparing me for this for the last 8 years. And when I got done with my speech that particular day, I told this woman, I said, you know what? Thank God that he takes us through stuff. Because now, when it's time to get up on stage and tell our story, we're able to pluck something from our life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then, a lot of times people fail to forget that it's we go through obstacles, we go through challenges, and we get to a moment where people, they just see that moment, but they're not aware of the fact that there's a story behind that moment. And I know with you, there's a story Coach Jerry, you've been through some things.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So I know when you speak to those that you mentor, whether you're coaching, even if you're not coaching, those that you're mentoring, it comes from a place of you recognizing and knowing, because you've been through challenges. And there was a challenge that you told me about that you went through when you were in college, because you played football in college, but there was also a hiccup, a challenge that you went through.
Absolutely.
So
I'll go ahead and tell it. And that was tough. So, in college, this was back in 2004. I was doing my thing in college, conference freshman of the year, all conference, just collecting accolades. And I was only 18. I had only been in college for 3 months. I was at Central Michigan University, and the following year, the summertime, because football players, what we do, we have to stay up at school during the summer, away from home. You got to get in the weight room, do conditioning, just so you can get prepared for the next season. So one night in July, I believe it was July 6th, a couple of me and my football players, we ended up going to the club. And after the club, one of my teammates, they got into an altercation with this guy. I'm standing about 15, 20 yards away, and I'm just looking in the crowd, because that's not my style. I'm more of a laid-back dude. And I just see this body hit the floor, right? And then I'm just looking, and I'm like, man, what the heck going on? And I just see a bunch of people kind of just stomping on this dude's head. and I looked and I seen a couple of my teammates. So I run over there, just second nature, just being a good Samaritan. So I go in there, I start pushing people off because there was a bunch of people, it wasn't just my teammates.
Right.
And after we pushed everybody off, I look down and I just see, this dude, he's just lifeless on the floor. So, just like any other, teenagers or college people, you get up and you just leave. Well, we found out, 19 days later that dude had died, right? So when my teammate walked through in our apartment, because we had like the apartment where everybody come and chill and play Madden and all that stuff, he brought the newspaper. He was like, yo, somebody going to have to pay for this. And like he's holding up the newspaper. So I grab it and I read it and I'm like, ooh, man. Like, God rest his soul, but like I tried to help him. Like,
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
Trying
Like,
to diffuse, like, hey,
like I tried to diffuse it, so I didn't think nothing of it. But a couple of months later, up until that point, we started seeing that the investigation started getting serious.
Right.
They started bringing teammates and started investigating them, asking them questions, and then my name started coming up as one of the people who had beat him up. And I was like, man, I don't know what y'all talking about.
Right.
So one day we're lifting weights, and the cops come in. And I see him walking in because there's a glass walkway that you can get down to the weight room. And my strength conditioning coach met them at the corner, and then he starts walking towards me with like a sad face. And I'm like, what's up, coach? He was like, Jerry, you got to go over here. You under arrest. And I'm like, under arrest for what? So they arrest me, they embarrass me, they put me in cuffs, they walk me through the sports auditorium, you know what I mean? Right. And they put me in the car. And next thing you know, I found out that I'm in trouble for contempt in court. And I'm like, what you mean contempt in court? Like, I didn't do nothing. So fast forward, let's get to it. We end up going to court, and this is like a year later. So I had to spend like 2 years up at college and waiting on my case to get, waiting for on the trial.
So that was like pretty much
away from home.
Away from home.
Yeah.
Away from you playing football, because the idea of people, like someone going off to college to play football is for one day to hopefully make it, play as a professional. Right. So this happened really early on. Really early on.
And I remember having NFL scouts walk in the building telling me, like, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be all right. So I'm hearing all this stuff. I'm getting all this praise. But in between that time, while I was up at school for 2 years, I remember going to church on my 21st birthday. And when I went to church, we praising God. And towards the end, this white woman, she walks up to me. She said, you know what, young man, I don't know you from a can of paint. But she told me, she said, God hears your prayers. He's going to work miracles for you. In my head, I'm like, man, whatever. Like, at this point, I'm just trying to just get some prayer on and go home.
Right.
So I get back to my car, and that, it kind of hit me then, like what this lady had said. Because, I had been praying like, God, I ain't do nothing. Like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening to me? And I went home. That very night I had a dream. I had a dream that two men were sitting in the front seat of a car. I was sitting in the back seat. And the man who was driving, he looks over to the other man and said, I can't believe this. And then I woke up and I was like, what was that? 3 months later, I go to court. This is where trial is happening. We go to trial. The prosecution ate us up the first day. Because they showed the man's picture on the computer, on the screen. He was beat up in the hospital, bandaged up, blood. And I'm just looking at the jurors and I'm looking at his family. They all crying. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, like I'm about to go to jail for real for something I didn't do. So we come back the next day. They set us out for recess. I'm going to be quick. They set us up for recess. And the kid, and when we get back to court after recess, a couple of court interns, they walked up to the judge and they told him something in secrecy. So the judge gets up, he walks in the back. He was like, we got some disturbing news. I'll be back. So after a minute, he came back out and he said, you know what? We got some disturbing news. One of the jurors was in the diner talking to his wife saying that he don't care what they did. We're guilty in his eyes. And I was like, whoa, like, what are the chances, right? What are the chances of him talking to his wife and intern sitting right there? So I said, okay, God said he's going to work miracles. That was a miracle to me. I don't care what nobody
that
say.
is a miracle.
You know what I mean? And next thing you know, they had one more witness come up. So they said, you know what? This witness is going to be the one that closes this case because he knows everything about you. So they said, we'll offer you 1 year if you just accept it now, or you're going to go to jail for life. So I looked at my mom. We standing outside. I look at my mom. I look at my dad. I say, nah, that don't sound like no miracle. So I said, no, I'm not taking it. We go back in court. They bring that witness up. My lawyers ate him up. He didn't know what was going on. He even said that the cops told him what to say. He didn't even know what to say. He said the cops told him what to say, like, say it's my name.
Right.
And I look at the cops. I look at them, and I'm just mugging them because I'm like here it is. I'm a young black man in college,
Right.
and y'all in here playing with my freedom in my life. So next thing you know, we leave court. I used to drive to the courthouse with my lawyers. So we riding back to the hotel where they were staying at, and the lawyer Doré, he was driving, he gets a call. Remember I told you about the dream?
Yes.
He picks up the phone, and he said, "Hello," and he said, "How about you just let my client go free?" And then I guess he said something, and then when he put down the phone, he looked over at because I had two lawyers. He looked over at him. He said, "You know what? I can't believe this." So I sat back in my seat. I was like,
Just like that dream.
just like the dream. You know what I mean? So it was like, man, God was looking over me the whole time. Like I had nothing to worry about.
Right.
You know, but at the time, you know, you're young, you just thinking it's just a dream.
And when you in the moment.
Yeah, you just in the moment. And like he worked so many miracles in that moment. And it was like, wow, like God is for real. Like I knew he was for real, but like he is for real, for real.
Right.
You know, what he say he does. So that's why I come at with experience, you know, just letting these athletes know, like, look, you could be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And just decision making. You know, it sucks that me being a good Samaritan almost cost me my life. But with my heart, I'll probably do it again because
Right.
that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I can't let nobody just get beat up like that. You know, so I try to tell these kids all the time, like, man, just watch the company that you keep. Just decision making, and that your life can change at any moment.
It can.
But as long as you keep the faith, you're gonna be all right.
But when he received that phone call and basically like you needing to be let go, like what happened? What was the very thing that caused you to for them to drop the case against the charges against you?
Because they had nothing against me. They had been bringing up people up there to the witness stand, and nobody really knew what was going on.
Right.
You know, so we were all leaving. And besides that first day, after they showed like the parents, I think that was their stick. I thought they were banking on that, and when that didn't work, they were just like, all right, we're just gonna try to wing it. And when they couldn't wing it, and I stood 10 toes, you know,
Right.
it's like, all right, we see y'all were full of it, so we gotta let you go. Yeah.
But I'm so happy that you were able to overcome that because, you know, especially me being someone that used to be a correctional officer, it's like I know what it feels like to see people just sitting
Yeah.
for their day at trial. And there's probably people that are like innocent. Like, of course, you have some people that, okay, they did the crime.
Yeah.
And then you have some people that are actually innocent.
Yeah.
And for you were just one of those people that was able to like, justice was able to play significantly well on your side, and you really overcame that because that's so much stress. Now, do you use that as an example? Well, I know you don't start off by telling people, hey, you know, this is what I experienced.
Yeah,
but
there's very few people that know that. So yeah, it's like a spade I pull out and slam on the table when I feel like, you know,
Right.
it needs to be heard. You know,
Yes.
but outside of that, outside of this podcast, more people gonna know now. But like I didn't really tell it to people unless I feel like they needed to hear it.
Right. Because you were being charged for something that you weren't a part of. That,
Right.
you know, like you were just being a good Samaritan trying to like help and diffuse the situation. But do you also use it as a way to, especially with this generation, this younger generation where people are partying and just having so much fun? Like, do you like mentor some of your the athletes that you coach to, you know, let them know like, you know, things can happen, make
Oh,
sure
Lord. Yeah.
you know you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the thing is with the younger generation, just like myself, like you think you can't be touched. Like you think that it won't happen to you. Like you think a bullet got a name on it.
Right.
You know, but they don't, you know. So at any moment your life could change drastically.
Right.
You know, so I tell them like, hey, just be careful of the company that you keep. Just be aware of the places that you go. If you feel some kind of way, put it like this. If it's after like 11, 12 o'clock, especially in high school, they shouldn't be out that late. Like just be aware.
Right.
You know, because it can happen
You
to
just
any
never
of us.
know.
You just never know. You know, but at the end of the day, if it does happen and you're able to come out of it, I see it as you're just chosen, right? Because, you know, my story has helped a lot of people, the ones that I did tell.
Right. Right.
And they like, man, like I be praying to God, but like, I don't think he be listening. And I'm telling you to hear, he do listen. All you got to do is just stay obedient and just pray to him and talk to him.
Right.
You know, but the last thing I want to say is just with my kids, like I felt like I went through all that stuff for a reason because it wasn't just the jail time. It was me being hit by a car when I was in 3rd grade. Like I got hit by a car, hit my head on the windshield. I got up and walked off like nothing happened, right? When I was 4 years old, a kid pushed me in the pool. I almost drowned, but luckily my uncle was out there.
Right.
And he snatched me up out the water at the last second.
Right.
You know, so I look back at all that stuff and it's like, wow, like, you know, I'm still here.
And you have a purpose.
Yeah, I have a purpose and I'm here to tell it.
Right.
You know, I'm just a testifier, just preparing my testifiees because these kids are going to be grown one day. You know, so I'm just letting them know, like, look, this is how you navigate through life. This is how I navigate it.
Right.
And if I didn't navigate it the way, or if you're not heading the direction that I'm going, I know somebody who's been in that situation.
Right.
Hey, come talk to this youngin for me. Because that's what mentorship is. It's a guiding light. You know, these kids don't know. You got to find people and put people in the right places that can give them the right answers.
Right.
Or if it ain't the right answers, it's something similar to what they're going through.
Now, did you ever even imagine or think that you would be doing what you're doing now?
Not even close. You know, I was real selfish when I was young, so I just really thought about me. You know, just me and my football career. And God was like, you know what? You want to be selfish? I got something for you. So, you know, me mentor kids now, you know, I mentor kids in Germany. You know, I even mentor coaches.
Yes, in
Germany. Yeah, for sure. So I mentor coaches now too as well. So, you know, it's a part of me pouring into other people because I was so used to pouring into myself.
Right.
What can I get? You know, what's gonna happen for me? Me. So you got to be real careful when you have that mindset because you're gonna get humble. But now it's like I'm pouring to other people. I'm teaching kids on how to be, you know, young men, how to be young athletes. I'm teaching coaches how to, you know, be better coaches and how to mentor, you know. So I'm doing a lot of teaching right now. So it's way bigger than me at this point. You know, it's about me pouring into other people. And sometimes I don't feel like I got it to pour into other people because I'm doing so much.
Right.
But, you know, I'm learning to, you know, pour into myself. Therefore, I can pour into others. Yeah.
Now, as a man, a black man, like with you going through a lot of the things that you've went through, what are some of the tools? Because sometimes when we go through certain challenges, some people, they hold on to that trauma or, you know, they don't even recognize that they're holding on to it.
Yeah.
Or because you don't give me the personality that you're angry or you're angry at the world, because you have some people, especially if they dealt with a situation pertaining to the criminal justice system, they're completely turned off. They're angry with the world. They like F everybody.
Everybody, yeah, I get you. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
But you don't carry yourself in that way. It's like there's this like light that you have in you. It's so encouraging. And it's just like, I want to know for you as a black man, what are some of the tools that you use in terms of your healing journey to have a level of sanity for yourself?
It's really just grace. You know, for a long time, I wasn't happy. Like, I was really pissed off about my situation because I saw my life heading in a certain direction. And then when all this happened, like, when I say I had to start from the bottom, like, I had to start from the bottom.
Right.
You know, like, even when I came home, like, one dude was like, yeah, look, you with us now. I'm like, I'm with y'all. Like, because, you know, as a child, I was like the neighborhood superstar. You know? Always a superstar. And then when people see you fall, they feel like you're on the same level. And it was just like, whoa, so this is what people were saying at me at the bottom. Because I was like, I was dumb to it because I was at another level. You know, so, but the thing is, like, I had to have a lot of grace on myself. For a long time, I didn't forgive myself. For a long time, I said, man, why did I run up in that crowd and try to save that dude? Like, why did I do this? I even spoke to his daughter. She called me like about 3 years ago. She was a baby at the time. She was like 8 months. She found me on Facebook. And I think that's where everything changed. Because I always said, like, I wish I could tell his family I tried to help him. Because I remember before I left the court one day, like, his mom was just mean mugging me. And his dad was like mugging me. But I couldn't say nothing to him. But I wanted to tell them, like, look, like, I didn't hurt your son. Like, I tried. If you could see your son right now today, he'll tell you. Him and God will tell you, like, I tried to help him.
Right.
But when I talked to his daughter, she had to be like 8 months at the time. Yeah. And she found me on Facebook. She was like, I want to get some closure. Can I talk to you? So we got on the phone and I talked to her. And she was like crying. She was like, I just never got the chance to know my father.
Right.
Do you know who did what? Like, I just need answers. I grew up my whole life. I just didn't know what to do. And I told her, I was like, look, baby girl, like, I tried to help your father. Like, and she started crying. She was like, I didn't really see nobody helping my father in that situation, especially the fact that he died. I was like, no, like I tried to help him. I don't know who did what to him, but I just want to let you know, like I tried to help him. Like I tried to save it. Yeah, like I tried to help him. I wanted your father to stay alive. He didn't do nothing to me.
Right.
And I think for me, that's when I finally got my closure, you know, speaking to his daughter, you know, because we end up just chopping it up at the end, just talking. We laughed and joked a little bit. It wasn't nothing too serious, but it was like, that was my closure. Right. And I felt like when that happened, that's when the shift happened in me. Because it's like, you know, I got to tell somebody who was connected to him that, look, I'm sorry, but like I tried to help.
Right.
Even though it didn't work out, at least I tried my best. So that's when I got my closure, when I talked to his daughter. But I had to give myself a lot of grace because I was like, I was mad internally. Like I was harboring a lot of feelings. I was mad at the cops. I was mad at my teammates for even beating them up. But I had to, like, you know what? Let me pull back. This is not serving me. Let me release that. Let me step into what it is right now. Let me be present. And let me just live the life that I feel like, you know, God put me in and placed me in right now. Let me just do it the best with that. Right. But it had to come with a lot of grace, you know, grace. And that's what a lot of black men need to do, you know, because we harbor a lot of things, man, like whether it's the dude that tried us when we was in 6th grade or the dude that said something, because, you know, black folks got a way of saying things.
And we hold on to it. But I don't think it's only like a black folks thing. It's just in general, like we hold on to certain things that we're just supposed to learn from.
Yeah, absolutely.
And learn and trust that we're going to grow from it. And it was for a reason. And clearly in the people that you mentor, the speeches that you give, none of it was in vain.
Correct. Yes.
None of it was in vain. And just you even being able to have that opportunity to talk to her, to the daughter and speak to her, to even give her that sense of closure, to let her know, like, hey, like, it was kind of like the world is not full of bad people.
No, it's not at all. At all.
And even though this circumstance was horrible, someone was still there.
Correct.
To help, to diffuse. The world is not full of bad people, and it's so easy for us to experience bad things and just give up and just think this is just how life is.
Absolutely. And I think I allowed that situation to kind of, you know, corrupt me in certain ways. Because there was at a time point I started drinking a lot. I was drinking a lot more. Started smoking and just started doing things that's not normally me.
Yeah.
Because
to numb it.
Yeah, to numb it, because I just really didn't want to accept that this was the situation that I'm in.
Right.
You know, some people don't see themselves in certain situations.
Right.
Especially when it's a bad situation. But when you get in that situation, it's like, how do you handle it? You know what I mean? And I wasn't handling it very well until, you know, I started to say, you know what, Jerry, this ain't you. Like, some got to give, some got to change. Like, you know, you are blessed. You were born to be blessed, but that wasn't your route.
Right.
You know, he rerouted you. Doesn't mean that you disqualified. You just being developed. And I needed some development. I just ain't see it at the time, but I needed to be developed. Well, most people, like now when most people pray for peace, I pray for capacity. Oof. That's what I pray for. You know, because people just, well, I want peace. Nah, because I know I'm going to be dealing with people. I know that, you know, God, he made me a warrior, so I'm going to have to do some things. I'm going to have to fight against some things. So I want capacity. Right. Like, I want to be able to handle all that stuff that's coming my way. And I think that was like the introduction for my capacity being built.
Right. And that's what makes you an amazing coach. It's like you've built the capacity, because I don't feel like you're like any other coach that I know of, right?
I appreciate it.
Because even with your program, the Running Back Academy program, like the way that you structure everything, you're so thoughtful and mindful and the seeds, the information that you give, it's like you're not just only instructing them on how to move through the field, but you're also instructing them on how to move through life.
Absolutely.
You know? We could go on and on
yes,
and on.
We definitely can. And like I said, I just want the youth to understand, this is my message to them. Capacity, build it. You know, I just spoke about it. Peace is cool. But if you are going to be an athlete, right, like what are you going to do when you make a bad play in a big time game and now you have all the fans in your Twitter account calling you all kind of names, saying you trash, saying that we gonna do this to you, do that to you. How do you handle that?
Right.
You know, do you fold and do you allow that to corrupt you or get inside of you and get in your head, or do you stand up and you just make better decisions, or you come out of that?
Right.
You know, so that's what I try to tell these athletes, because I don't think, you know, we have to do a better job as coaches, especially at the high school level, of allowing these kids to develop mentally, because I think we just cheer them on. But then when we send them off to college, it's a bunch of people that's waiting for them to mess up. And they don't know how to handle that because they've had a bunch of adults around them that just only praise them.
Right.
You know, and praise is cool, but it don't get you nowhere.
It doesn't.
You know, when you start getting hated on for real, you know, by them other people, by them other folks, like that's something that's unmatched. We've seen players mentally, that mental health stuff, I think that's what it converts from. It's nothing that they're battling, you know, with it that's in front of them. That's all external things.
Right.
That's messing with them, you know. So I just think we need to do a better job of preparing these kids to college, not just to go to college, but to stay.
Right.
You know, and, you know, because the worst thing you could do is see a kid who was in college on his way and then he's back home because of behavioral issues, or he just couldn't handle it. That's the worst thing in the world, at least to me.
Well, for me, I'm so grateful that you're a coach, you're a mentor, you're a speaker. You know, I'm going to keep saying that, y'all. I'm going to keep saying it because you need to know.
Say it.
Because this is what the world needs. And I feel so honored to have you.
I appreciate you for having me
on You Are Heard podcast. Now, what's the best way for the audience that's watching this to get in contact with you? Or, like I said, you heard him here on the podcast, but when I say he can speak, he's a phenomenal speaker. What is the best way for someone to reach you and get in contact with you, Coach?
Well, first thing is the Running Back Academy. So we'll start with that. It's the_running_back_academy. That's my coaching platform. That's where, you know, I do products. I don't just coach, too. I teach people how to make virtual products, how to set up their subscription programs, and how to monetize on that, too, as well. Just had to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But the next name is I'm Jerry Seymour. That's SEYMOUR. And I just started my speaking journey, so I am building my portfolio on that. So you will see a lot of speaking, you know, gigs or speaking engagements that I'm doing on that. So those are the two platforms that you can find me on. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on all those other social media platforms. It's just too much. I can't keep up with all of them. But if you want to get connected with me, is through those two platforms. It's in that platform, Instagram, and it's the_running_back_academy, and I'm Jerry Seymour.
Coach, thank you so much for coming on You Are Heard podcast.
Thank you.
You are so amazing, and I just can't wait to see what God has in store for you.
I appreciate that.
I mean, he teaches out in Germany, y'all. They be flying him out.
Yeah, you know it. I'm trying to go to China.
Listen.
I'm trying to go to China. I'm really trying to stretch this thing out.
China, where you at? But thank you for being you. Thank you for living within your purpose. And thank you.
I appreciate you.
So everyone, thank you for coming on, listening to this episode of You Are Heard podcast. And I pray that you got so much goodies and information from this podcast. And please, definitely connect with Coach Jerry Seymour. If you're a mom and you're looking for someone to train your kids, Coach Jerry,
give me a call.
Listen. Or definitely sign up for the Running Back Academy. But once again, toodles. Bye.
Thank you.